So good morning. I'm going to have you sit on a block. I'm going to use a blanket too because of my knee, but with your feet straight back and kind of like Virasana position, but yeah, just to kind of wake up your quads this morning and everything else and stretch out your ankle. So today's niyama or virtue. Oops, I forgot to mute you guys. Do that real quick. There we go. There. So just see how that goes for a moment. I promise I won't. You can put 2 blocks if one is too much or is not enough. And you can do it without if you want to. It's fine. If that's what you're going to do, I'm going to do it on the block today. So the third niyama, or virtue, if you will, is self-discipline. Self-discipline and willpower. And this book that I've read by Robin Sharma, the monk who sold his Ferrari, he kind of goes through, what he thinks are important, and that was one of his virtues too. So it's not just the ancient yogic text, but other people have noticed that if you have this self-determination, willpower, self-discipline, that a lot of times that goes a long way to help you in your life and in your spiritual quest, if you will. So basically tapas, or self-discipline, is doing something you do not want to do that will have a positive effect on your life. So if you think about it, there's a lot of things that we do because we want to do these things, but yet we don't want to do them too, kind of like yoga sometimes. So when our will conflicts with the desire of our mind, an internal fire is created, which illuminates and burns up our mental and physical impurities. So tapas, the direct translation in Sanskrit is fire. So burning, we have to have self-discipline and do these things. So I wanted to just read to you this little part. So in this book, he says, through the steel of discipline, you will forge a character rich with courage and peace. Through the virtue of will, you are destined to rise to life's highest ideal and live within a heavenly mansion filled with all that is good, joyful, and vital. Without them, you are lost like a mariner without a compass, one who eventually sinks with his ship. And he says, live with discipline. Discipline is built by consistently performing small acts of courage, which I like that, to think of discipline as small acts of courage. The more you nurture the embryo of self-discipline, the more it will mature. So think about that and just turn inward for a moment. Turn to your breath. And feel how your body is today. Maybe lengthen your spine a bit. Please bring hands to heart center. When you have the self-discipline to work at something every day, do it every day, or maybe whatever interval works for you. You reap great rewards, I think. You feel accomplishment. You feel good about your life. And maybe you're much better to feel the grace and the love all around you. Please lower your hand, open your eyes, and just do a little twist to your right. It feels different in this position. And do a little twist to the left. And then coming back to center, maybe just lean back a little bit, lift your heart. Your shoulders a bit. And then come on out. And carefully move all your props out of the way. And come on to your back. And go ahead and just stretch your legs long, stretch your arms long. Stretch in both directions. Maybe try to stretch your right leg and your right arm even more, and maybe even arc a little bit to the left so you feel nice. You can walk your right heel towards your left foot a little bit, left arm towards your right arm towards your left. It feels like a little arc. Good. And then coming back to center, switch. So stretch the left arm, left foot, maybe arc to the right a little bit. Feel a stretch in the left side of the body. Good. And then come back to center and hug your knees all the way into your chest. Kind of roll into a little ball. And then please set your feet down. Bring your right ankle over your left thigh. And just kind of flex and point your right foot a few times. Maybe make it, roll it in a circle. Crack, crack, I know. Good. And then lift the left foot up, interlace behind the left thigh. This time keeping your arms long. Just kind of stretch out that right hip. And maybe stretch your left leg straight. And flex and point it a few times, or make a circle. And then release that foot to the floor and switch so that your left ankle comes over the right thigh. And point and flex your left foot. Keep a nice long spine. And then lift the right foot, interlace, lengthen back out. Maybe stretch the right leg straight or partially straight. Flex and point it. big circle. You're cracking on both sides today. Good, and then release that foot down. Unwind your feet. Make sure the feet are right under the knees. Bring your hands by your hips and just lift to a little Satu Bandha, allowing the shoulders to come underneath. Warm up. Try not to scoop the tail. Just kind of feel the strength in your thighs, lifting your heart. Good. And then go ahead and sit back down. And roll to your right side and come up to seated. Hands behind your knees. Lean back and lift your shins. Navasana. You can stretch the feet long if you want, or legs long. Just kind of warm up. Feel that tapas, the heat building. Maybe bring the hands to the right side. And to the left side. Good. Go back to the center. Now slowly lower your legs, round your upper back, and roll back down to your backs. Stretch your arms and your legs long again. What I was gonna do. Oh, I know. Bend your knees towards your armpits and come to happy baby. Just kind of roll around. Kind of stretching out. You can bring the soles of your feet together. You could straighten the legs out to the side. Just play a little bit, warming up whatever feels like you need to in your legs. Good. And then just hug the knees back into your chest. Grab your shins and roll back up to seated. Come to all fours. And just move through some cow and cat. Just kind of get a little wild in your cow and cat. Just stretch out whatever needed. Like when you're in each pose, maybe sway a little bit. Stretch everything out. Whatever feels good. Good. And then stretch the feet long. Sit back to a child's pose. Again with your quads again. Round your back a little bit. And then make your way back up to all fours. Bring your hands forward a little bit. Curl your toes under. And I just want you to push your hips back. So push your hips back so your knees lift a little bit. Keep them really bent. Press away with your hands. So you're really pressing your hips back. And then slowly straighten into your legs. Downward facing dog. And just walk your doggy out. Maybe sway your heels side to side again, like you're doing cow and cat, just stretching out the sides of your body. And then pause in your bestest downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And come forward to plank. And you can lower your knees to come down, or if you're already feeling strong, come all the way down to your bellies. Stretch your feet long and bring your fingertips forward and wide. And just bringing the shoulder blades on the back, broaden your clavicles and lift up to a funky cobra and just kind of wiggle side to side, warming up the shoulders. The time, just really checking it out. And then come on back down. Slide your hands by your chest and lift a regular cobra, just being very mindful. Checking in with your back, utilizing your legs and feet, sliding yourself forward. Good, and then make your way back down and push back again to downward facing dog. And very slowly walk your hands back to your feet. You might have to bend the knees a lot to keep the weight back and come to a forward fold back there. And come up on fingertips so you feel like you have a good purchase with the ground. If you need your blocks, you can use those too. So press down and forward with your fingers and try to isometrically pull your right leg back. You can keep a baby bend in the knee and then switch. Try to isometrically pull the left leg back. You feel it in your hamstrings. Good. Switch again to the right. And then the left. And then try to do both at once. Good. And relax into a forward fold. You want to grab your elbows. You can swing side to side again, just kind of warming everything up. And then slowly roll all the way up to standing. Hopefully that felt good. I'm going to have you step more to the middle of your mat. And if you want to go, if you have trouble with balance, go to a wall. And standing on your right foot, just bring your left foot up and come to that quad stretch. So think, I'm gonna really bring knee beside knee, hug the heel in, and then lengthen up. Good, and then release and switch. I like to start, find my balance, knee beside knee. Draw the low belly up, but keep the sits bones back. Maybe stretch the left arm up. And release. Now everyone walk towards a wall. Just going to do a little shoulder stretch. So if you stand with your hip about, I don't know, 18 inches away from the wall, you just bend your elbow, bring it back behind you, and then with your hand about shoulder height, Pretend like you're carrying a tray back there. Just bring the outside of your hand, the little finger side of your hand to the wall. Bring your left hand to your hip. And then think long side body. Draw the head of the arm bones back, but broaden your clavicles. And then maybe press into the wall a little bit. You'll feel big stretch in your shoulder. If it feels like not enough, you can turn out a little bit, but keep really strong and long in your core. It's really good for your neck too. Just move it side to side. You can tell when you get everything in alignment how good it is. And then release. Switch sides. Feels nice, right? So remember, hand is about shoulder height. It's behind you. Right hand to the hip. Long side body, head of the arm bones back. Draw the rib cage back, broaden the clavicles, and then maybe press a little bit. See how this side feels. Maybe turn away slightly. If you want more stretch, just keep everything in alignment. Don't lean into the wall, just lengthen up through the top of the head. Good, and release. Okay. So again, if you struggle with balance, stay by the wall. You can bring your hand on the wall. Otherwise, come back to the middle of your mat. And standing on your right foot, see if you can bring your left foot up again and bring the hand on the inside of the foot so your thumb's on top. And then again, find knee beside knee, shoulders square. Hug your foot into your hand. And then slowly kick the foot back. And think back bend a little bit like cow. Maybe extend your right arm, hug it to the midline for baby dancer pose. Ooh. Just play with it. Don't lean forward so much as think back bend, kick back. And then come on out. Ooh. Feel a little burn in my glute there. Okay, other switch sides. Find the inside of the foot, thumb on top, hug it in. Left arm, your shoulders stay square, your armpits hollow. Hug everything to the midline as you make your way. And release. Whew. Good job. Come back to the back of your mat. Take a breath. We haven't done that one for a long time. Stretch your arms up. It feels good when you can find some balance. Fold forward again. And walk your hands back out. Just go slow to a downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot again. Press your hips back and up. Press your hands forward. Come into your full dog. And then come forward to plank. You know yourself, you need to lower the knees, you can, or lower to the mat. But this time, stretch the feet long, stretch the arms long. I like to start with forehead down just because it helps me keep long back of neck, long through the spine, rib cage is back. Lift the shoulders, lift the arms, lift the head, lift the chest. Shalabhasana. Maybe lift the feet. Good. Bring the hands by the sides of the chest, press them down, and press up to cobra. Let your feet come down and lower back down. And push up to all fours position. Grab your blocks. I'm going to have you step your right foot forward and then adjust, wherever feels good so that you're getting a little stretch in your upper quad, your hip flexor. And just do this first. Lift the back knee, lengthen long. And then stretch the right arm up and open up to a little twist, keeping the right hip crease back. And then come on back down to the block, lower the back knee. This time, hug to the midline, lift up to Anjane. I want you to feel a little bit of a heart lift, so bend the elbows, shoulders on the back, lift the heart. Stretch back up and touch down to the blocks. Slide your hips back to a runner's lunge. Slide them evenly. Sure everything's aligned. You guys know this. Stretch your toes. Just gonna work everything out so we can move into a few things deeper. And then come on back forward, hands to the blocks. Anjane again. Stretch your arms up. This time, twist to your right as you bring your arms out. And then maybe lean back a little bit. Good. Come back to the twist. And then sweep the arms up as you face forward and touch down. Good. Lift the back knee. Oh, it feels all uneven, so let's straighten it out. Step forward and step the right foot back. Deep lunge. Just take a moment to feel deep lunge. Everything aligned. And stretch the left arm forward and then open up to a little twist. Right or left hip crease stays back. Lift your heart a little bit. And unwind. Good. Lower the back knee. Hug to the midline. Make your way. Anjane Asana. A little bit of a heart lift if it feels stable and good. Good. Stretch the arms up and touch down. Good. Slide the hips back. Use your blocks if you need to or not. Left leg straight. Maybe stretch the toes if the alignment feels right. Hold if that feels good too. And then bend back into the front knee. Stretch up Anjane Asana. And then keeping the hips square to the front, turn the shoulders to the left, extend the arms. Maybe lean back just a little bit. It's going to be intense. And come back up. Straighten. Straighten out. Stretch the arms up. Good. And touch down. Lift the back knee and step back. Down dog. I'm on my blocks. Extend the right leg. And then step that foot through to deep lunge. And please step forward, forward fold. Inhale, pranam. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pause. See how things are feeling while I put my pony back in. Here's just not quite long enough. Good. Inhale, stretch up again. This time, bend the elbows forward. Keep the armpits hollow. Lean back, look up at the ceiling. Good. Stretch back up. And come to a forward fold. Inhale, pranam. Exhale, fold. Step both of your feet back to a downward facing dog. And go ahead and lower to your knees. And I want you to walk your blocks back and bring them to the outside of your ankles. And then come up to standing on your knees. And just bring your hands on your outer hips. Think long side body, head of the arm molds back, and then broaden the clavicles so you feel the shoulders come down a little bit. And then start to lean back. Keep looking forward. Maybe reach one hand and then the other for camel pose. And just go to a place where it feels like it's a good stretch, a good opening for you. And then come on, back up. Sit on your heels. So we're going to do it one more time. Feel the quads. So you have to work the quads when you're doing this, but I don't want you to pop them forward. I want you to think, okay, my whole back is lengthening first and then slowly bending. So you have to keep the sits bones back. So let's do it one more time. So come on up. If you want to go deeper, you can curl the toes and come to your heels too. So just start long side body, head of the arm rolls back, rib cage back, lengthen up through the top of the head and then slowly move back. Find the blocks through the heels. Should feel easier this time. Your hip creases don't pop forward too much. Maybe a little bit. Broaden your clavicles. And then come on, back up. Good. Walk your blocks forward. Come on up to downward facing dog. Extend your left leg and step it through to deep lunge. Good. Step forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. Pranam. And fold. Let the blocks off for a moment. Step back to downward facing dog. Plank on your inhale. Exhale to the mat. And come on up to your elbows. Make a fist with your right hand and swivel that forearm in. Now you have to be really careful with your shoulders here. I want you to think strong on the back, strong on the front. Bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand, find the foot. You might have to turn to the side to get it at first and then square everything up. Make sure your knee's not splaying off to the side. And for me, I can grab the top of the foot. For you, you might just be doing this. If you have enough flexibility, you can turn your hand forward then and just get a good stretch in the quad. Yeah, nice. Try not to let the shoulder come forward on that side. Pull yourself isometrically forward with your right forearm. And release. Whew. That feel okay in your back? Okay. Let's switch sides. So if you protect your shoulders and keep everything aligned, it should feel good. So make a fist with your left hand, swivel it in, protect your shoulders front and back, bend the left knee, find the foot, and give it a little quad, a little stretch. It's a deep. One more breath. Pull yourself forward, lengthen, and release. Good. Hands by your chest. Push all the way back to a child's pose. You can round your back, even come up on fingertips so you feel big rounding. And then make your way back to all fours and have you grab your blocks again. And step your right foot forward. Lift the back knee again. Just lengthen out. Good. And then lower the back knee. Stretch the toes straight on that back foot, your left foot. But don't lose the muscle energy. So hug to the midline. Come upright. Stretch up Anjane again. Good. Now keep that feeling so the shoulders stay square. Just bring your left hand down and bring it to your left hamstrings. And slowly lift up a little bit more. So it's like you're straightening your right leg a little bit. Lift your heart. And then bend back into the front. Ooh. Good. And release. And now I'm going to have you slide your hips back again. Walk your blocks back with you this time for sure. Bring them to the higher height. And then try and get your right foot flat with your leg pretty straight and come upright. And think heart opening. Walk your block slowly back. Heart opening. This is kind of like a one-legged camel pose. And then bend back into your front knee. Oh man, lift your heart. Ah, good. And then straighten the leg. Walk the blocks back forward. Take that in. Lift the back knee. Step back. Extend the left leg and step it through. Deep lunge. Lower the back knee. Stretch up. Anjaneyasana. Keep the hips square. Keep the shoulders square to the front. Let your right arm come back, hand on the hamstring. And lift your heart a little bit. Lean back. Use that as a gauge. Oops, I forgot to tell you to stretch your toes straight on that right leg. Really press down into the foot. Good. And then touch down. Here we go. Let's try that weird thing again that I made up. Walk your blocks back. So you're upright, your left foot's flat, everything's square to the front. Your left leg is almost straight. And then see if you can come upright enough to lift your heart. Walk your blocks back as you bend into your front knee. Oh, it's a deep back bend. If you can bend your front knee a little more and come upright, back to deep lunge. Lift the back knee and step forward. Feels good to bend the other direction. Appreciate it. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, fold forward. Front arm and fold. Step your left foot back, deep lunge. Lower the back knee. And just move your blocks back by your side. Keep your left hip or right hip crease back. Bend the left knee. See if you can reach back, find the heel, find the foot, and then hug it in. Now, keeping your right hand on the block, you can bring it to the higher height. I want you to just kick back and lift into that back bend position again. So hips stay square, shoulders stay square, big stretch on your left shoulder, kick it back. A little bit more of a back bend. Some of you might be able to slide your elbow crease to the foot. Oh, and release. Good job. That's a version of mermaid pose. Did you feel like a mermaid? Lift the back knee, step back, downward dog. And the left leg, step it through, deep lunge. You ready? Lower the back knee. Come upright. You move the blocks back. You make them a higher height. Bend the right knee. hug to the midline, find the foot. I like to bring my hand on the inside because then I remember to keep that right shoulder back, keep the left hip crease back, and then kick the foot back into your hand, or if you can find the elbow crease, you can do that too. Lift your heart. One more breath. And release. Ooh, I haven't stretched that way for a long time. Hands to the blocks, forward, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing. Extend the right leg, step it through, deep lunge. And then this time step forward, forward fold. Bring your blocks forward, come down to a deep squat and roll back to your bum. Good job. Go ahead and come all the way back. Hands by your hips, feet right under your knees. We're gonna do Setu Bandha again, but it should feel easier this time. So draw the shoulder blades underneath you. Press into your feet, lift your hips. Maybe interlace your hands. If your arms stay straight, you can do that. Try not to engage your glutes too much for this variation. I want you to feel them kind of loose, like they're in a hammock hanging there. Good. Bend your right knee in towards your chest. Stretch the foot up towards the ceiling, point the toes. Bend the knee in towards your chest again, bring it back down. And switch. Left knee in. Stretch that foot up. Bend it in. And bring the foot down. And move your hands out of the way and come all the way down. Hug your knees in. And then move the knees side to side. Now, hang on to your knees, push them away from you so your arms are long. Feel that curve in your low back. Press down to your hip sockets. Just enjoy that. And then release your feet to the floor again. I'll give you some options here. You can do Setu Bandha again. Or if you're really feeling it today, you have some energy left, you can go to a full Urdhva Dhanurasana or a back bend. So either one. I'm going to try back bend. I haven't done one for a while. So you bring your hands so your fingers point towards your toes. Shoulder blades underneath you. Press into your feet, lift to Setu Bandha. And then maybe press into your hands, lift your head, or you can adjust or lift all the way up. Doing Setu Bandha, you can do a supported Setu Bandha too, if you'd like. Come all the way back down. Move your feet a little wider, your hands to a cactus. Just do a few windshield wipers. Well done, everybody. Feel the need to do any other cool down poses you can, or else just stretch out into Shavasana. And with your breath, I hope you felt like you felt some heat. Tapas. Especially want you to relax your shoulders, whole rib cage, your quads, even your feet, your ankles. Feel your belly relax. And just work up and down your spine. In each separate vertebrae if you can. Start. Notice the breath moving in and out. Deepen it. Allowing it to enliven you. Start to move. Here we go. Make your way back to seated. The heat of building to backbends allows us to relax deeply. I don't know if you noticed that. The tapas, self-discipline, working hard, building heat, actually help us rest deeper as well. Just bring hands to heart center. Namaste. Thanks. Well done, everybody. I hope that went well for you guys at home.
Thanks, Lisa.